We are locking Well, we're just still waiting for the Polish F-16 to get ready to take its part in the programme, having been brought forward a little. And very good news, we have our surprise item for today in the air in the form of the RAF's first Boeing Wedgetail AW1. It's going to be flying both on its own and in formation with the red arrows coming up in the display shortly.
Big thing with red arrows decline, respect.
Red arrows haven't come off.
Nah, well, to be fair, there's even any main starters. Yeah, yeah, so it's Ferrari on as well. Yeah. That's all, isn't it? Say, they were all the way, weren't they?
Nice try.
Well, that's just how it belongs.
That's it. That's it. We never got
And so it's now back to the Polish Air Force for the F-16.
Go on!
I bought two myself, so I need to use it. Yeah.
Good afternoon, RIAT again. Ladies and gentlemen, today your demo pilot, Major Maciej Krakowian, with over 1,500 hours on fast jets and a man on a mission, brings the role of Mighty Viper to the UK skies. On the ground, our technical team, often with even longer experience, is taking care of every tiny detail to ensure that we will show you the maximum capability of the Viper. The Tiger demo team this year celebrates 10 years of proudly presenting Polish Air Force F-16 across all Europe. In 2015, we started, and our founder, Major Robert Ludo-Gałązka, just a year after 2016 was performing in Korea. Let's get back to present and let's hear some words from Slav. Slav, the floor is yours. Buckle up, RIAT. The Tiger is ready. nearly 30 degrees angle of attack, just about salty. Right at the limit of the airspeed. Slab is flying approximately 120 miles per hour. And at midfield, he will set full afterburner and start a rocket-like climb. Dedicated to all service members, their families, and the memory of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. To all who serve, this one is for you. Get ready to take these stunning photos because love is on your right. The dedication pass! And now, the final salute from the Tiger Devil. One last pass to say goodbye and a break to the land. During this flyby, the demo pilot is watching the body, so it's a perfect opportunity. There's some trivia facts. During the show, Slav used approximately 3 zones of altitude and his body weight increased 2 to 3 kilograms. It is a really heavy workout for the men and the machine. The thrust to weight ratio of our F-16 is more than 1 and increasing during the show due to burn down the fuel. That means Slav can climb vertically like a rocket. The whole Tiger Devil team thanks you for your energy and support. We warmly invite you to visit our promotional tent for posters, aviation gear, and autographs. And you can take any photos or videos today, tag us. We are on Instagram and Facebook at F-16 Tiger Devil Team Poland. Follow us and share your best shots with the Tiger community. And now, final words from Slav.
Well, thank you very much to Slav and to Major Richard Seiler for talking you through that display. Well, now, sustainability is increasingly important to us at the Royal International Aircraft and across the Royal Air Force. So here's an interview with our Sustainability Director in relation to the Red Arrows displays this weekend and something a bit pioneering.
What does that involve for you? So throughout the year we do all the planning for the volunteers, that's food, accommodation, recruitment, and we do companies, public staff, temporary staff, and also on sustainability we look at relative including, understanding where our impacts are, and what is like to do. Alright, and what have we introduced for this year, RIAT 2025? So sustainability-wise we've been using freezes, as possible. This year we have got in Red Arrows flying on sustainable aviation fuel for the first time in public display, which is absolutely brilliant. And then we've also got Red Aerospace Exactly. And with the Red Arrows, how important is it to have someone as big as the Red Arrows are to be converting to biofuel? Oh, it was fantastic. And our parent charity, the Charitable Trust, is about inspiring the next generation and we're committed to showcasing advances in sustainable aviation. So having something that can say as big as the Red Arrow, flying on sustainable aviation at the world and the British Association, because you know better for us to just let people know what's going on in the world of aviation. What are you expecting to see over the coming years in terms of sustainability? I think probably aviation is all about technological advances and marginal gains. So every little initiative, whether it's putting a computer on board an aircraft instead of having log books, etc., that can be used for ways to improve fuel efficiency, engines, fuel efficiency. But again, across the event, we're using more and more sustainable power sources. So we cut back on our generators wherever possible. They all run on HVO, the hydrogen oil. But we're also looking at some solar power this year. Our IT network is largely powered by solar. So there's just lots going on, and it's just identifying where we can take advantage of that. Is there anything the public can do to help? I think over the weekend it's definitely, using the refillable water, thinking about what we're doing, making sure that we minimise waste and reuse wherever possible, and also just going to technical and having a look at things out there, and for perhaps people that think about careers, what better to do with STEM career and how to solve the problems that we Thank you so much.
Technically there, the RIAT Sustainability Director, talking not least about the Red Arrows flying here for the first time on sustainable aviation fuel.
Here we go, guys, here we go.
Bienvenidos and let's see now the Eurofighter, the Spanish Eurofighter that control this plane.
I'm going to introduce again the pilot, Bengo, Major Bengo, Station Commander, and one of the most experienced pilots in the Spanish Air Force. And by the way, it seems we brought some proper Spanish weather to RIAT today. So, hold on to your hats and your cameras, because in just a few seconds, Bengo will own the sky. It was an 80. Everybody, let's give him a huge cheer. Bengo's ready for takeoff. Afterburner on, full power, launching like a rocket. Out of the sky, but never show. He's twisting through the earth like that. Okay, folks, that was it. Nice work. Nice speed. No noise, guys. He's pushing transonic, fast and furious, like his Spanish bull turning out of the gate. Let's see if he deserves an ole. Beautiful backbone. Now Bengo is slowing down. Up there, that's what I'm working. And preparing to balance the aircraft on pure skill. flying are an incredible demonstration of steel power. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for bringing such an amazing crowd. It has been an honor to be here today. Don't forget to visit us then. Hit bingo, take pictures, and ask your questions. We'd love to see you. And now, one last big round of applause for bingo, ladies and gentlemen. And ole! Guten Labiat! And thank you very much to First Lieutenant Alex Santos. What an exciting display. Very much worth the wait. Now, it's time for a bit of a surprise on today's programme and a real air show first. We're going to be seeing the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows, flying past in formation with the RAF's newest aeroplane, the Boeing Wedgetail AW1, the RAF version of Boeing's E-7 Wedgetail, airborne early warning and control variant of the 737-700. And here they come, in from the right, the Wedgetail and the Red Arrows. It's now time for the Red Arrows to break from the Wedgetail and set up for their own display in just a few moments' time.
The good thing is,
and so, it is indeed Red Arrow's time, and therefore time for me to hand over to Squadron Leader Graham Muscat. Good afternoon, sirs, moms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Squadron Leader Graham Muscat, Red 10, the team supervisor with Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the It's great once again to be here at Royal International Air Show. What a fantastic way to start our display on here on Saturday to fly alongside our newest intelligence collection platform, the E-7 Wedgetail. You see the team have now disappeared to our rear. They're getting themselves ready, getting themselves preparation, all the administration complete before they run into the display. As it's my honour to be here as part of the Red Arrows. I'll give you some more information about the wider Royal Air Force, about the Red Arrows themselves, but most importantly, I'll put your eyes into the correct piece of sky. Do not miss a single second of the action. Having celebrated and enjoyed our 60th display diving season last year, in 2025 the Red Arrows continue to inspire the future through our new 9 aircraft aerobatic display, our colourful flight path and engaging ground events. Of course, one of the roles of the Red Arrows is to represent the Royal Air Force and its whole force personnel, who are still as busy today as it always has been. Building the operational mindset and need for the threats that we face, engaging our resilience, our readiness and agility. The Royal Air Force purpose is to provide global air and space power to protect our nation and help it prosper alongside our allies and NATO partners. The Royal Air Force is often regarded as the UK's first responder, always ready to fly and fight now and in the future globally and again within our allies and NATO partners.
We do this by getting the basics right. We ensure our people, our infrastructure, training and support are fit for the current and future demands. High-end warfighting starts with the basics. The team are now to our rear, they get themselves ready. They'll prepare the aircraft, they'll trim all the aircraft out, they'll prepare the smoke pods and get themselves ready to run in for our new 2025 display. You heard Ben mention it earlier. This year at RIAT we are flying with sustainable aircraft fuel. All the Royal Air Force aircraft are capable of flying with 50% synthetic. However, we are flying with 38% blend, which has been provided by RIAT CTE. That fuel reduced emissions, operational resilience as well, because that fuel is manufactured within NATO, and therefore there is less reliance on potential adversaries and a fragile trade route alongside any other company or country that we get our normal fuel with. When the team arrives, they will arrive in big battle formation. That's the same formation you see them arriving when we fly over the capital in His Majesty King Charles III's birthday or state ceremonies. However, we'll be flying in what's called amateur big battle. This means instead of the numbers on the right-hand side going 2, 4, 6, 8, we'll go 3, 5, 7, 9. We are this time on the right, we go 2, 6, 4 and 8, and then 3, 7, 5 and 9. And that allows us to move into the next shape, which is our world famous Diamond 9. There are 3 types of shows that we can do. It's either a full show, a rolling show, or a flat show. And that is either dependent on cloud-based and or airspace. Of course, there are no airspace restrictions here at the Air Tattoo at Fairford. However, we have got some clouds today. We need a full show. We need 5,500 feet, 2,500 to 3,000 feet for a rolling show, and 1,000 to 1,500 feet for a flat show. And that show type is decided by Red One with approximately only 10 to 15 seconds as he runs into the show. When the team arrive, don't forget to give a huge round of applause, a huge cheer. I'll press my transmit on my radio, transmit that warm welcome from the Air Tattoo audience to the Red Arrows, and that'll give them that extra boost ready to put on a fantastic show here at RIAT.
Where are they, the holidays?
Sirs, moms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready. Don't forget a huge round of applause and a huge cheer. Please, put your hands together for the 2025 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the arriving at over 400 miles per hour, Red One pulls them up, keep pulling them up for speeds. He started the show. Whoa! And into the you see 6 and 7 sit behind Red One, 8 and 9 flat. The far more world famous Diamond 9. Reaching a height of over 5,500 to 6,000 feet, the aircraft now slowing down as Red One brings them back down and twists them around to the right. Leading the team for his second year as team leader is Red One Squadron Leader John Bond, known as Bondy. Bondy's been in the team for 7 years. He took a break and then came back as the leader in 2024. He's a former Type pilot, former qualified flight instructor on the Scano, where he was Scano display pilot in 2012. And Bondy would like to wish a massive happy birthday to Ruben, who's 14 today. Team now put themselves into 9 Arrow. The smoke comes on for 9 Arrow presents, once again, it's the Red Arrow.
Sorry,
brother. Oh, no way.
Wow.
On the right of Red One is Red 2, Flight Attendant Rob Thomas. Rob is in his first year on the team. Uniquely, he is taking some training and maybe to instructor on the Hawk Team Mark 1 with 2 races on the base area family. Before completing his own training and joined the Typhoon Force, where he served on the Police Squadron with his operations over Iraq and Syria. He's also been an instructor on 29 squadrons operational conversion units, all based at RIAT Airshow in Lincolnshire. You'll now see the wings start to move backwards. That neck starts to move forward. 8 to 9 stay wide. As they come out for one of our widest shapes and biggest shapes that we fly, in from the left, the smoke comes on in the Swan. back to 300, back to 400 miles per hour as Red 1 brings them around to the left. You can hear those commands from Red 1. They're almost robotic but monitoring this delivery, and that's because we fly our formation by ear rather than by eye. And it means the pilots on the outside of the formation need to put their control input just in a little bit earlier to ensure that we have the moving formation as one rather than a ripple effect. The neck extends and we form one of the shapes of the most iconic aircraft ever in aviation history. Coming in from the left, the smoke will come on for the Concorde! To the left-hand side of that centre stand is Red 3, rotate and do it, known as Maka. Maka is in his first year at the team. He flew the AV-8B Harrier variant on exchange with the United States Marine Corps, before then coming back to the UK and joining the world-famous 617, the Dambuster Squadron, at RAF Marham, where he flew the 5th generation newest RAF fighting aircraft, the F-35B.
Then you're only in the car now, but if you go now, you're in there for like 2 hours. Do you know what I mean?
You now see Red 2 and 3 move forward the rear section to form the Delta Wing. 2025 celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Royal Air Force Typhoon Display Team. In from the right, in honour of their 20th anniversary, this is the Typhoon Roll. On the right hand side, all the way back to that formation at the rear is Red 4, coming at Chris McCann. Chris is working extremely hard at the back of that formation. He's having to look through the entire formation at Red 1. To take off formation refuge from Red 1, and not necessarily the mercenaries on the inside. Red 4 Scrolly McCann is in his second year at the team. Again, he was taking some training and made an instructor on the Tucano before completing his training and joining the mighty Tornado GR4 force, where he also flew with 617 the Dambuster Squad. And Chris is a recipient of an Air Force Cross for his service on operations over Afghanistan. The Royal Air Force, of course, is synonymous with its operations in the air domain. However, we now have a capability in both space and cyber. And with a nod to that capability, in from the left, this is Apollo. As I said, there are 11 pilots on the Red Arrow. Got Red 129 displayed for his day. We are commanded by Wing Commander Adam Collins, Red 11. He was airborne, both chasing the flight past with the E7. He's a former Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot. He also flew the F-111 while on exchange with the Royal Australian Air Force. Myself, Red 10, my 4th and final year of the team, former Tornado GR4 pilot, former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark 2. You now see Red 8 and 9 move to the outside, Red 6 and 7 split behind Red 2 and 3. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, another fantastic photo opportunity in from the left. The colourful Big Vixen. To the aeroplane towards the rear. And this has twofold effect on the aircraft. The first means the pilot's flying the higher throttle setting, thereby producing a hotter engine gas temperature, and it makes the smoke colours burn a lot more brightly. The second is it disturbs the airflow outside the back of the aeroplane, and it makes that smoke billow a lot more fuller, and therefore in certain manoeuvres throughout the display we'll use this technique to enhance those manoeuvres.
It's so exciting.
The command is given once again, and red 6 and 7 sit behind red 1, red 8 and 9 you can see moving all the way in trail of the main formation. For one of the most popular, if not the most popular manoeuvre, the red arrows fly. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, get your cameras ready.
Yay.
From the right, it's tornado time! The abort call is made from red 9 as red 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation. But watch for the colour change as red 1 brings them down the line.
Oh, wow.
The administrators, the logisticians, and they are known as the Blues due to the colour of their blue flying coverall that they wear during display season. There are a number of Blues here today at our public relations tent, so please pop along, have a word with them, find out what their roles are in the RAF, and of course within the Red Arrows. Inside those Blues, we have 10, 11 individuals who get to fly in the back of our aircraft in between displays. We cannot take the full engineering complement. They are known as Circus. One individual with me at every show is Circus 10 to film the show for safety and debriefing purposes. And today, that is AS1 Emily Muir. Once again, we've joined into our Diamond 9. This will be our last opportunity in the Diamond 9 before we start the second half. So once again, from the left in our Diamond 9, it's the Red Arrow. With the 5-4 split. And in the second half we break down to two distinct sections. On the left hand side we have reds 1 through 5 known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And from the right, reds 6, 7, 8 and 9 known as Hannah. Named after squad leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, he took the team from a 7 to a 9 and formed our world famous Diamond 9. Enid from the left, Hannah from the right, 4, 5, 4, 4. Keep your eye on Enid to the right hand side. Moving in from the left, sitting behind red 1 is red 5, and sitting in trail is red 4. Number 4, roll goes. Number 4 rolls around the smoke of Enid. Sat behind red 1 is red 5, Flight Lieutenant Dusty Wales, known as Dusty. Dusty's in his second year of the team. He's originally from Zimbabwe, a former Typhoon pilot with 11 squadrons, as well as being an instructor on 29 squadron, and also being part of 41 squadron, the Test and Evaluation Squadron, all based at RIAT Airshow in Lincolnshire. Look directly to your front, you've got Hannah running back in, reds 8 to 9, rolling around the rest of the synchros. Once again, get your cameras ready for the Hannah break. Reds 6 and 8 go off to our left hand side, reds 7 and 9 go off to our right hand side. Hannah and Christine there are led by the synchro leader, Thomas in his third and final year of the team. He's a former qualified weapons instructor on the Typhoon, where he would teach all the weapons, technical information and tactics to the entire Typhoon force. Tom also received a distinguished flying cross for his service for operations over Iraq and Syria. Each pair will now dive down to the airfield. They'll only be 100 feet above the airfield, a closing speed of over 900 miles per hour. Enid to perform the Goose. Look directly to your front, you can see the nose light twinkling in the distance of the synchro pair. Red 6 starts to ease up, red 7 on our left in tango. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready for another fantastic photo opportunity. This is the one you do not want to miss. The smoke comes on for the world famous synchro heart. And coming in from the top right hand side is red 8, heavy speeds the heart. Red 8 is flight attendant Rich Walker, and he's very experienced aviator. He's flown RIAT, he's flown Typhoon, and he's also been a qualified flight instructor on the Hawk Team Mark 2. Let's give the synchro pair with a massive round of applause for a wonderful heart in the skies of RIAT. Of course, Red Hours like to dedicate today's heart to all our friends, family and partners who are here today at RIAT celebrating Saturday's show. Keep your eye on the synchro pair as they come back to the display line once again at 100 feet. That closing speed of over 900 miles per hour. They'll perform a barrel roll. They'll cross in the middle at only 30 meters wingtip to wingtip. That's only 100 feet. Followed by a second barrel roll in the double roll. Joined by reds 8 and 9. The smoke comes on from red 1. 8 and 9, roll goes, reds 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation. In the corkscrew, once again you can see it trending our famous red, white and blue. This is hydro-treated vegetable oil, it's 100% blend, and the Red Hours are the first and only team to use both renewable smoke and synthetic aviation fuel. It protects and promotes innovation and British excellence. In from the right, red 6, in from the left, red 7. Each aircraft is performed parallel, crossing the middle before turning hard away from each other. Maintaining that separation on red 6 to complete the manoeuvre called the circuit. Once again, the synchro pair leads to our rear. Look to your right 45 over the BA Systems hangar in the distance. The white smoke comes on from Enid. Once again, our famous red, white and blue command. Red 1 forms a barrel roll in the sky, leaving a snake-like smoke trail in the sky in a manoeuvre called the Serpent. The motto of the Red Hours is excellence. Single member of the team, whether they build a team for a week or 4 or 5 years, is striving for excellence. excellence in everything that we do. But we also like to think that we leave the team in a better place than when we first joined it. Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 now move up alongside Red 1. They're looking hard, 90 degrees along their shoulder line, while maintaining up to 3 to 4G. An extremely hard formation to maintain is from the right. The smoke comes on for the Tango present. Keep looking to your right, you're looking for Red 6 and 9 coming in from the left, Red 7 and 8 from the right. For one of our new manoeuvres for 2025, this is Chainsaw! Red 6 and 9 moves to extremely hard against that exit. All the blood rushing to their brains. Reversing down in roll the correct way up. Turning that negative G to positive G. All the blood rushing from their heads all the way into their feet. Working hard against their G-pads to remain conscious while maintaining that aircraft flight at 350 to 400 miles per hour. Look to your left. Enid running back in. The smoke comes on from Red 1. 2 and 3, roll down, 2, 3, roll to the outside. One of the hardest maneuvers for this is the roll back.
That's so cool. See, that's good stuff. Well, it's not perfect for this.
Look directly to your front once again, and you're looking for the nose light of Hannah. That's the 6, 8 and 9. 8 and 9 roll go. They roll around the smoke of Red 6. Well, Red 7 does a grand job of hiding in the smoke of Red 6. For our second manoeuvre for 2025, this is Tempest.
Wow, so cool.
Again, we have Red 6 and 8 to our left, Red 7 and 9 to our right hand side. This is the for up to 1,500 feet. Turn back towards the spray line for the final manoeuvre of the show. Each aircraft will dive down to that 100 feet. They'll have that closing speed of over 900 miles per hour once again. They'll perform a barrel. Cross at only 30 metres, 100 feet, wingtip to wingtip, followed by inverted flight to leave the display area in a manoeuvre called the crossbow. Through the smoke, joined by Red 8 and 9. Sirs, moms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Royal International Airship, it's been an honour and a pleasure. So please, put your hands together for the 2025 Royal Air Force Air Majesty. It's the If you'd like any more information about our hours, of course we are
and Instagram, you can follow us, RAF Red Arrows. All the pilots on Instagram have their own account. If you find me, RAF Red 10, follow me, you'll be able to follow all the rest of the pilots. Have any images or videos, hashtag Red Arrows, we'll pick them up, we'll share them across social media. As I said, it's my fourth and final year in the team. If I don't get to see you for the rest of the weekend or the rest of the season, I want to thank you from a personal thank you for all your support over the last 4 years. Please have a wonderful rest of the day, lots of water, lots of sunscreen, and enjoy the rest of RIAT. So on behalf of the Royal Air Force and the Red Arrows, thank you very much. Goodbye.
And thank you, Squadron Leader Graham Muscat, Greg Pear.
I'm here at the Juno helicopter with Barry. Barry, what do you do on this aircraft?
I'm a racer instructor on 60 Squadron at Shawbury, and my role here is part of UK MSPS to teach all
What does this helicopter actually do?
It's basic training, so our training arrives with us with no experience flying a helicopter, and we take them from that goal and deliver them out then to a certain standard level they go to the front line to their reference.
Okay, now we have to ask, Aries is written on here, and we have a logo on the back as well. What is this all about? Why is it on this helicopter?
So we're from Shawbury, it goes back to the Second World War. In the Second World War, a couple of years into the war, they discovered that actually their navigation wasn't very good and a lot of the bombs were missing their targets. So they created the central navigation at Shawbury. One of their first bits of research or trials was to send a Lancaster bomber around the world to look at long-range global navigation and how they could incorporate that as tools to deliver their output for their targets.
Okay.
And the Lancaster bomber, this one, which was 1938, which sort of coincides with the calendar of this aircraft, was that first aircraft, and it flew just under 3 months, it flew 36,000 miles around the world in 202 hours. Steady was the first British aircraft to do that.
And so we're commemorating that right now.
Yeah, and so this is that commemoration, yeah. So we celebrated it last year on the school, and obviously we still got it on the aircraft.
Okay, I think we'll come and find you and talk to you about this.
Yeah, lots of questions, obviously it's a helicopter and rescue as well, the other Lancaster bomber. It was a slightly different one from the one that was used from the bombing range in the war, but it was deeply fitted with all the latest radar, navigation equipment, and they were all used as a fly before they were then put onto the actual engine.
Amazing. Barry, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
A very interesting interview from Elisa there on the big screens as the Red Arrows come in. They run and break to land. Once they're back on the ground, we'll be bringing you quick
We are not smiling. We ensure those we serve always stay
Ahead of road.
Here. Here.
So, as the Red Arrows flying, remember, on sustainable aviation fuel for the first time at the public air show this weekend roll out, it's time once again to welcome back the RAF's latest asset, the Wedgetail AW1, a Boeing product, of course. We're getting 3 of these aircraft as successors to another Boeing aeroplane, the 3D Sentry AW1, which was retired in September 2021. They're going to be based alongside the Boeing Poseidon fleet. We saw one of those earlier, of course, at RAF Lossiemount. The conversion of these airframes is being undertaken on behalf of Boeing by STS Aviation at Birmingham Airport, and the first of them made its maiden flight in Wedgetail configuration on the 20th of September last year. It was then ferried to London Southend Airport for painting, and it was rolled out in the colours of its future operator, number 8 Squadron. And that scheme includes not only the RAF markings and unit insignia, but also the emblem of the NATO Airborne Early Warning and Control Force, because NATO has also selected the E7A Wedgetail as an E3 Sentry successor. This first example is expected to be operational by 2031, and when NATO converts to the E7, the RAF Wedgetail will join the NATO E7 as part of that force. What's the role of this aircraft? Well, as with any airborne early warning and control platform, it provides complete 360-degree coverage of airspace beyond the capabilities of a fighter's own sensors or ground-based systems, directing friendly forces on offensive or defensive sorties, generally increasing all-round situational awareness of the aerial battle space. And what we'll see on the spine of the aircraft is a large fin housing the Northrop Grumman MESA, multi-role electronically scanned array sensor. This and the onboard communications suite allow the 10-strong mission crew to provide tactical control for other assets using voice communications and tactical data. It's able to track airborne and maritime targets simultaneously. In from the right then, the new Wedgetail AW1.
I might get a version or something there. Not just the outlet. Oh yeah, that's right. That's it.
The aircraft is currently operated by number 56 Squadron with a long and famous history, forming in World War I, one of the initial fighter squadrons for the Royal Air Force, operating numerous types, and in the Convoy era, operating the Lightning, the Phantom, and then latterly with the Tornado F3 as the Tornado F3 Operational Conversion Unit. Since then, it has become part of the Air Warfare Centre, and it operates as a test and evaluation squadron, focusing on evaluating aircraft, weapons, and tactics. Squadron is easily recognisable by its famous red and white checkers and the phoenix rising out of the ashes, and its motto is Quid Securium Ruat, which translates to What if Heaven Falls. On that dorsal radar array on the Wedgetail, what's often referred to as the top hat part gives fore and aft coverage, and the low drag portion of the array beneath it looks left and right. And it's a really interesting comparison to be had here between the Wedgetail flying in front of us and It's Boeing's predecessor in the airborne early warning and control role, the E3 Secretary. We've got one from the French Air and Space Force, the E3F, on static display here. It's a much lower drag configuration on the wedge tail compared with the famous rotodome on top of the E3. Yes, that's how technology has developed. If you go back even further to the Shackleton, that had a pulse radar, which was slung on the front, slightly underneath the nose of what is very, very similar to the Lancaster, which is taxiing across the opposite side of the airfield right now. Indeed, it was a Lancaster airplane that has been developed and modified over the years. But then when the E3 came in, it was a physical radar, but it physically turned. And whilst it produces sufficient lift to offset the extra weight, it nevertheless does cause some drag to the aircraft. Not that drag is counterproductive to the speed of the aircraft, because it is still limited to about 0.8 Mach, but with that extra drag it certainly does reduce the endurance and the range of the E3D as was. However, as modern technology has evolved, this aircraft now has very, very little drag associated with the extra mission equipment that is bolted onto the side of the aircraft. The E7 came about as a result of Australia wanting its first dedicated platform for airborne early warning and control. It's selected Boeing as the successful bidder in the year 2000. 6 aircraft were built by Boeing at its plant at Renton in Washington, 737-700 and modified into E7As for the Australians. The first 2 were converted in the US, the other 4 at Boeing's facility at RIAT Airshow. And the first pair of wedge tails for the Royal Australian Air Force were accepted into service in April 2010. And when the Australians took them on board, it became the world's most advanced airborne early warning and control platform in service. It was used on such operations as the search for the missing Malaysian Airlines flight, MH370, and on Operation Opera in the Middle East from 2014 to 20. Turkey also flies the 737 in an AW&C configuration procured under the Peace Eagle program. They've got 4 of those aircraft called E7Ts, or simply Peace Eagles. The Peace I program for South Korea saw 4 aircraft delivered to the Republic of Korea Air Force, and the USAF issued an initial contract in February 2023 for a planned buy of 26 of these aeroplanes. It should be noted that a wedge tail is actually an Australian bird. But very cleverly named. As you see it fly past now from right to left, the first thing you see is the wedge, which is the radar, followed by the tail. And the aircraft's going to be coming in for a touch and go, and they go around. Not sure it will actually touch, but we will see. It's a very nice opportunity to get a good first look at this aircraft. Yeah, absolutely, given that touch and go will mean that it can come inside the 150-metre line, because it will touch on the runway, which is set to line about 125 metres from the ground line. The engines, incidentally, a pair of CFM International CFM56 turbofans. And this, of course, a bit of a surprise act today. We intended to see it yesterday. There was a technical issue which prevented that, but everyone's shown great flexibility in bringing it into the programme today. And here it is, in from the right, for a go. Well, what a splendid sight. Boeing test pilot Glenn Wilcox and RAF number 56 Squadron test pilot Squadron Leader Angus Lilly giving us the first public demonstration of the RAF's wedge tail, AW1. Next up, we're going to be getting the Battle of Britain Memorial flight's Arrow Lancaster into the air to meet up with its 2 accompanying fighters.
There's a guy new.
It's good that. Look at that.
Oh, too many people. See.
This one even meant to fly, had a literal engine blow for the week.
That's right. Meanwhile, it's flying new for it. If it blows up now, then it's keeping up.
Now, come on. I think the main
One of the engines had a technical issue which forced a diversion back in time. But after a significant amount of work by the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Ground Crew, we now have it here at RIAT.
How can you just fix it here? I was
so much around it. Tomorrow I used to get I used to get them 6 miles. Yeah, I'm ready at the back then. I probably just had to, I've rolled up those little bags that have nothing in it, so I'm going
So you got blanket first, and then
Now it's time for another of those items, without which the Royal International Air Tattoo simply wouldn't be complete. This is, of course, the 40th anniversary year of this great air show moving to RIAT Airport. It's been the most outstanding home for this show, and this team has appeared at the vast majority of air tattoos held at this airfield ever since. They've been through a few different aircraft types over that time, but our pleasure at seeing them never diminishes, and that's particularly the case since they converted to their current equipment one of the finest unlimited aerobatic mounts in the world. 4 examples of the extra EA330LX are now on the runway at the right-hand end of the airfield, representing, as they have done on so many past occasions, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, a nation with which RIAT enjoys the closest bonds forged over many decades.
never been a certain
So the smoke goes on. They're about to be ready to roll. The last of our 3 national display teams for the day.
Then I'll charge it up.
And our regular European tour, and here they go, starting their takeoff roll. Those extra EA330 LXs of the Royal Jordanian Falcons, getting airborne to initially position before tipping in for a really high quality 4-ship aerobatic display.
The Falcons are technical.
Originally started as 3 pit specials S2As. The team changed to 4 fast and nimble water extra 300Ls in 2007, and since 2018 they have been operating the brand new Extra 330LX. It's a modern and capable version of the Extra design. It's capable of an eye-watering plus and minus 10G. And it's a team that's performed all over the world. It comes over to Europe pretty much in every display season, but they've also flown further afield. Many other Middle Eastern countries, of course. They've even performed out in Indonesia, but they're absolute staples of the Royal International Air Tattoo, dating back to when it was still the International Air Tattoo, purely because they made their first appearances on those pit special aerobatic biplanes in the late 1970s, when the show was still being held at RIAT Green Common. So those regular RIAT participants, they are also stable in Europe, this being the 3rd air show in Europe. They started in France a number of weeks ago. The aircraft was flown into Europe and into France in the back of a C-130, and then reassembled there with their first display in Europe taking place at Orange Air Base. So they're nearly ready, they are tipping in, they're starting off in box formation, so look out in front of you as they head towards the main display line. They'll shortly be putting the smoke on to start the 2025 show by the Royal Jordanian Falcons.
I'll let the gentlemen. There we go.
So the team starting off in box formation, performing a quarter clover manoeuvre, rolling right and pulling through, and then we stay in this very tight box formation for an initial barrel roll. This manoeuvre so named because the aircraft is driving inside of an imaginary barrel, laying on its side in the sky. What a tight formation this is, led for the 2025 display season by Jamil Zaya, who first joined the Royal Jordanian Falcons back in 2002. He is currently the Director of Operations and leader of the team. In fact, he first assumed leadership back in 2005 and has returned to the role on various occasions since. He joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 1992, graduated from its King Hussein Air College. 3 years later, as a fighter pilot, he has past experience on the Northrop F5 and the Dassault Mirage F1. So, out from that wing over to the right, and coming back in down the display line, but we'll see a subtle change to the formation out of box and into T for Tango as they pull up into the Tango loop.
That's exactly
formation with the two wingmen dropping back a little from the leader. They pull up as if to perform an ordinary Cuban 8 maneuver, but they're going to exit it still inverted with a painful negative G push.
And it's painful. Everyone loves to do that.
The Extra 330LX is produced by the aircraft manufacturer Extra of Germany, and it's probably the smallest aircraft to display here today, with a length of just 23 feet and a wingspan of just 26 feet. Outline a light-only engine of 315 horsepower. It's a light-only AEIO 580 V1A. this aircraft has been the mount for many championship winners across the globe. Yes, the extra 330 is still the mount of the French Air Force, Air and Space Forces national competition. Aerobatic squad, the équipe de voltige de l'armée de l'air et de l'espace. Here we see the Royal Jordanian Falcons. Again, exiting inverted in front of us as they head towards the display line, and they're going to be performing this time an inverted turn. Absolutely no fly-by-wire protecting the aircraft from the pilot's inputs whatsoever. All push tubes, push rods and cables back to the rudder. Gives the aircraft a never exceed speed of 219 knots and a normal operating speed for aerobatics of 154. And what that means is if you stay below 154 knots, you will not overstress the aircraft with full scale deflection of any of the controls. A design conceived, as the name suggests, by a German aerobatic pilot and aircraft constructor named Master Extra. And we're seeing it used so splendidly by the Royal Jordanian Falcons here as they perform another quarter clover manoeuvre out in front of us to reposition on what we refer to as the B-axis. The A-axis is the display line parallel to the main runway. The B-axis is at right angles to that. They head away from us now to get ready for the first of the splits in this display. There they go, two to the left, two to the right, and this is their salute to you. This is the Royal Jordanian Falcons Heart.
Oh, get that. Go on.
And as they cross out there in the distance to the north, the two aircraft on each side turn back in towards the airfield. All of this, of course, under the radio command of the team leader, Daniel Zayat, as he calls his colleagues back in onto the main A-axis. And they're heading towards the display centre for a crossover. And they split as they do so. Three of the aircraft clearing off to the north, while the man who's been flying at the back of the formation, the number 4 pilot, gives us a chance to see something of the solo capabilities of the extra EA 300. The top man is Ferhat Al-Waitat, who joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 2006, graduated from King Hussein Air College in 2010 as a fighter pilot, flying the F-5 and the F-16 Fighting Falcon. He's been on the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2021. It was at the personal behest of that very fine aviator, His late Majesty King Hussein bin Talal of Jordan, that the Royal Jordanian Falcons were founded back in 1976 on the Peace and Fit Special. His intention was that he intended to promote the Jordanian family, peace and friendship for the world through the art and science of aviation. Watch now off to the left as the solo crosses over with the three-ship formation. Pulling up for a loop on the 45-degree line. And the leader now be pulling them into a barrel roll. And as they complete the barrel roll, the solo re-enters. say, a very enthusiastic pilot himself who for many years became a patron of the International Air Tattoo and was known to fly in himself in some of the aircraft from his royal flight, like the TriStar and the Dove. Now the three aircraft numbers 1, 2 and 3 performing synchronised stall turns off on the 45-degree line to the right. And now we see the leader and the right wingman going into mirror formation, the left wingman barrel rolling dynamically around their smoke. The two wingmen for this season are Sharif Hatouk and Ahmad Al-Kuda. Sharif Hatouk has been with the Jordanian Falcons since 2016. He's their chief pilot at the moment. He's another King Hussein Air College graduate as a fighter pilot, flying the F-5 before he transitioned to the Air Force's transport fleet on the Airbus C295 twin turboprop. As well as being the smallest aircraft on display here at RIAT, it is the only one that can be flown on a private pilot flight. With a maximum takeoff weight of just over 2,000 pounds and a cost of somewhere in the region of £350,000, plus the inevitable VAT. If you can afford it, you can fly it. There's always something going on in this display, so the solo exits off to the half left, goes on the right edge to cross with the three ships running back in. In big formation now for another of the quarter clover lead manoeuvres that are such a good way of changing display axis. And they split on the way down. All getting back into the vertical, showing us something of the outstanding power to weight ratio of the extra EA 330 LX. The solo comes back in for a session of freestyle aerobatic manoeuvres up into the vertical and then tail sliding back down through his own smoke, transitioning into a spin.
I like how you think it's coming down.
Several complete rotations before a very smart recovery. And rolling off into the distance as the free ship gets ready for one of the signature manoeuvres of the Royal Jordanian Falcons. They're in mixed formation out in front of us. They pull up. They're still inverted as the solo crosses them, heading underneath them and pulling up behind them as the team begins to roll upright. As I say, the team comes from what's known officially as the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and the manoeuvre they're setting up for now is called the Hashemite Break. Break, go, calls the leader. Equal vertical as the two wingmen go off to either side. The wingman I haven't talked about yet is Captain Hassan Al-Kuda, a King Hussein Air College graduate who's flown the F-5 and the F-16. He's been a member of the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2013. Extras all over the sky at the moment, but they'll shortly be reforming to crossing a perfect cross the display centre as the leader dives down behind them and the solo pulls up into the vertical for a series of vertical rolls. Too, that the Royal Jordanian Falcons replaced their pit specials with the extra 300. They later upgraded to the low-wing 300L model before changing in 2018 to this, the ultimate, the 330 LX.
saw before one to be left.
So now, the trio of extras off to the left, the solo diving in from the right. Again, able to break it, a crossover to the three other aircraft and now back in line of rest formation. Performing a very tidy loop with rock-steady formation flying. Now watch the rejoin by the solo, and also watch the transition from line of rest into Vic formation by the other three as the solo chases them down. Currently inverted, but soon once again to roll up. Right, there we go. And they're using a wing over to come back onto the A-axis. Now, Mark will see a very nice slow roll, hopefully, from another aircraft in the display, another propeller-driven aircraft in the display later on. This is going to be a slow roll in box formation. One of the hardest maneuvers we're going to see today, performed by a team whilst in formation, absolutely. What makes this so challenging exactly? It's a manoeuvre that requires all three axes of the control system being used. So as they start to enter, it's the aileron, in the knife edge, top end of rudder comes in the inverted, the elevator goes forward to provide us with lift. Again, converting to top rudder, and then transition into normal flight. However, because you've got two aircraft on the outside that are going, or are describing a circle around the leader, quite often the wingmen will be cross-controlled, so cross-controlled at the top of the manoeuvre. Very, very hard to fly in formation, and it's far harder than it is as a solo aircraft. But that entire manoeuvre took about 6,000 feet, so 1 nautical mile. Yeah, really difficult, and quite uncomfortable for the two on the outside. They're staying in box formation for the moment, and we're going to see them kicking back onto the display line for another repositioning clearly, I think. Three close links forged over the years by the Royal Jordanian Air Force with our own Royal Air Force, and so in the year that saw the death of the late King Hussein, one of the highlights of that year's Royal International Air Tattoo here at Fairford was the sight of his personal de Havilland Dove VIP transport escorted by the 4 extras of the Falcons, and with a missing man salute provided by number 6 Squadron Royal Air Force with its Jaguars. That's a squadron that spent a great deal of time operating out in Jordan. Well, we're coming towards the final part of this superb display. That cloverleaf maneuver used to come back onto the Z-axis in front of us. They're setting up into what they call Concorde formation, and this is for their final maneuver. This is for their Concorde fan brake. We give you the 2025 Royal Jordanian Falcons. Very, very polished indeed, wasn't that, Mark? Lovely display. Absolutely fantastic. And shows off every facet of this highly capable aircraft. Plus 10, probably minus 5 at some point during that display, and a roll rate which is in excess of 360 degrees per second. Couldn't agree more. Splendid stuff from the 4 pilots, Jamil Zayat, Sharif Hattouf, Ahmad Al-Quda, and Faras Al-Rekat.
I've got about 20 minutes left on that battery, then I'll use it up.
I'm done, possible.
There's that little one battery, you want to do that. It's nice, you know. get a bit more sleep tonight. I had a lovely sleep last night. Then after I've done the whole static side, I get the bus back to the thing and then the bus and train and then.
Before extras then recovering to Saffron. A wonderful display by the Royal Good End Fox. But now we're heading back in time to World War II and to the Royal Air Force once again, and the sight we are delighted to be seeing, because as Mark was saying, we weren't sure whether the Lancaster was going to make it. Indeed, it didn't make it into yesterday's display, but it made a spectacular arrival here last night. And always present and correct for it to take its rightful place at the helm of our next display. They're going to be running in from behind us. It's going to be a proud RIAT arrival and a chance to enjoy the magnificent engine note of no fewer than 6 Rolls-Royce Merlins in harmony.
I think it's really like the top today.
The 3 aircraft, Arrow Lancaster 1, Hawker Harrigan 2C, and the world's only genuine Battle of Britain veteran Supermarine Spitfire, a Mark 2A.
But there they are, they're coming.
I'm not putting on there.
Together, running in now from behind us, they form the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain's Memorial Flight.
I thought it was for Atlantis. No.
I'm sure you don't.
Brilliant, that's getting Molly.
Yay, here we come.
What was that? James Everybody get
looks like it's lower than he looks, doesn't it? Yeah, but the hang it's flatter here than it is in Florida. Oh wow. Oh, so is it like overflooded? This will be a little late.
shit.
Cancelling?
Pick yourself up, this dick. What did your mum always tell you? Unless you're on your chair. No, my teacher tell us that. I'm not grassing me sunglasses.
Oh wow. Yeah, I got a figure it goes first. Oh wow.
I was trying to look back there, and I couldn't like this. Me, I couldn't see it because all the people stood up, right? And I went through far back, and then the fucking tools was gone, and I was like, yeah, same way about two off.
Yeah, I'm getting. Wow. Ridiculous. I did it. Big stuff.
It's literally on the website now. They've got a display there. Make a list. Resident one list.
Yeah.